everyone, my name is Melissa from Inspire Me ASAP. If you're like me, you have a lot of extra Scholastic book order flyer forms that are laying around in your classroom. And in today's video, I want to share with you a fun and interactive activity that will put these book order flyer forms into good use. Going back to the anchor chart that I created in my last lesson and also in the last video, I taught my students how to identify not only what the word genre meant, but then also I wanted my students to be able to identify if a book is fiction or if a book is nonfiction, and what is the different criteria, what are the different reasons why you know a book is fiction versus a book is nonfiction. I wanted them to be able to give reasons to support their thinking based on what the criteria was that we learned about. In today's activity, I want to share with my students that they can identify what the genre of a book is sometimes just by looking at the cover. So I would give them an example of these book order flyer forms, and of course you know how excited they get when they get these book order forms. They would begin to cut out the different book covers that they can clearly identify as either fiction or nonfiction. Clearly identify based on the features or the pictures, illustrations that are on the book cover, but then also maybe they already read that book. And I had a lot of students make the connection of, oh, we have that Who Would Win book in our classroom library. Let me go get that. I'm going to flip through to see if it would be an example of fiction versus nonfiction. Students got their own copy and they literally just began to cut out the different book covers and organize it onto a very simple T-chart labeled fiction and nonfiction. If you can see here, some kids took it a step further and they even cut out those characters because that is one of the things that we identified as a fiction, a book that would be a fiction genre. Fiction books have characters that talk, characters with dialogue, so I thought it was fun that the characters was in that picture on the T-chart. If you want to differentiate this activity, you could do so by asking a different grade level teacher if they have a few extra copies of their book order form. So you could do that for a grade higher and maybe the previous year. So if I teach second grade, I could go to my fourth grade teachers and ask if they have an extra copy, and maybe go to my K1 teachers to ask if they have an extra copy. I could also differentiate by looking through here, seeing if I have any other books in that series by that author, and having those ready so that they can use those as an example to look through, so they weren't specifically just looking at the book cover. You could also certainly have your students work with a partner, and they could have that differentiated opportunity in that manner as well. If you missed my previous video about teaching about genres, I will put the link to that video in the product description below. Also, you want to make sure that you're subscribing to my email list so that you do not miss out on any other future videos that I make, because I do make one new video every week. In the meantime, go get those Scholastic book order flyers and start cutting and sorting.